So you're ready for your cruise. You have all those must-have items purchased, your passport's ready, but how much cash did you take with you? Ahoy travelers, it's Amy with Cruising from the Ozarks here to help make your travel experience a success. Now there's no way to ever know exactly how much cash you should bring with you on your cruise. It's subjective. It depends a lot on your spending habits. But I do have a few tips to help you figure out what should work for you. While you won't need cash to pay for anything on board, you will want to bring cash for tips. Now you can't pay anything on board with anything but your cruise card. That's why you don't need cash. And your cruise card is then attached to that onboard account that you have. Some people will choose not to link their onboard account to a credit card, but instead put cash on it. That isn't something I've ever chosen to do, but if you do, you'll need cash for that. So how much should you bring for tips? That depends on who you want to tip and how much you want to tip them. I've backed off on tipping quite a bit compared to what I did during my first few cruises. I do pay those prepaid daily gratuities, so I don't feel like I need to be tipping a lot over and above that, except for I like to tip anyone who makes my cruise extra special. People who have gone above and beyond their normal duties to really make my cruise that much more special. And that means that we will tip our cabin steward. How much depends on how often they're coming into our room. So are they servicing the room once or twice a day? And if they go above and beyond what is expected, did I ask for things and they're constantly have to bring me items? I don't usually do that. We also keep a really clean cabin. However, if we didn't, we would tip above and beyond. We usually start with $20 each for a 7-day cruise as a base tip, and it'll go up from there if we think more is deserved based on what's been going on. I also like to tip bartenders if I frequent the same bar, or if there's a bar server that goes out of his or her way. We usually choose anytime or your time dining, which means we don't have the same MDR servers throughout the week. But if we did, then I would also leave them a tip at the end of the week, especially if they got to know my preferences and went out of their way to make sure I never needed to ask for those things after the first few days. The other main area you will need cash is off ship. But before we get into those details, if you enjoy this video, maybe even learn something, consider subscribing with the notification bell on so you don't miss any future posts. Be sure to hit that like button as well. It only takes a second, and doing so helps cruisers like you find us. So how much cash should you bring for port stops will depend on your excursions and spending habits. Most of our excursions are booked through local companies where we have paid a deposit and they want the remainder paid in cash. I don't usually spend a lot on souvenirs. I like to get a magnet, maybe a t-shirt. If I know that we're going to need a taxi, I'll bring money for that as well. Many places have set amounts for taxi rides where you can actually do the research ahead of time so you know how much that taxi will cost you. I find that if I bring cash to finish paying the excursion, money for a taxi if it's going to be needed, and then an additional $40 to $50 per port stop, I have enough to buy any souvenirs, tip drivers, and tour guides. That might not be enough for you if you're a big spender when it comes to souvenirs, so adjust accordingly. You will want to make sure you have a good amount of 1s and 5s, not just a bunch of 10s and 20s, so that you'll have that money to tip porters, tip taxi drivers, tip your tour guides and drivers for tours, stuff like that. I will also take my credit card with me just in case I decide to make any large souvenir purchases. I have been known to buy rum and rum cakes when I go to a rum factory. I don't like using my credit card though, unless it's in a store that's either in the terminal area itself or a nice, well-established location. I'm never going to be giving my credit card to a taxi driver or a small souvenir stand. But I would feel more inclined to use a credit card if I was in the UK or parts of Europe than when I'm in the Caribbean. Now, my goal is to always come back with cash. It's better to have it and not use it than need it and not have it. While you can use ATMs to get more cash, there will always be fees involved. So I'd rather just bring it with me, what I think I'll need. You also have to be careful in some of these third world countries, especially in other tourist trap type areas where people have added card readers and other things to ATMs in public areas to fleece money out of people. So I would just prefer to never have to use an ATM while on vacation. I use a little portable safe for my cash when I cruise. That way I don't have to worry for the fact that I'm carrying a lot of cash with me. And I like to just leave anything that's left over in that portable safe for the next cruise. While there's no right answer to how much cash a cruiser needs, I do hope I've given you some things to think about that will help you decide the right amount for you. Why not stick around and check out this video on paying gratuities on your cruise and then come back for more information designed to help you have an amazing cruise. Have a blessed week, everyone.